speech about the bugs and the lights and
Yeah.
fishing. Since this group might have some interest, could you?
Yeah, so we had an entomologist, an insect scientist at the meeting this morning. Entomologist, that's a good word for it. And he pointed out that the fish in the Mackenzie River, as in many rivers in Oregon, dine on insects. So if we put out bad lighting, especially along the river's edge, we'll be doing in the insects, killing the insects, reducing the food available to the fish. So we'll have fewer fish. Sir?
Are fish affected by the light?
They are. Yeah, there hasn't been much research done on fish in themselves, but it's understood from what I've read about it, the fish will avoid lighted areas and try to hide.
Oh.
Yeah. So they might otherwise be in a place where they can get food, but instead they're hiding and, have a problem. Good question.
Yeah, so one of the opportunities is for guided trips. And of course, we have the Mackenzie River Guides Association over here, but they're limited by their seasons. However, in the shoulder season in the fall, perhaps in winter, is there opportunities for something like that to occur? And is it going on in other areas?
Tourism.
Yeah.
Dark sky tourism. Yeah.
On waterways?
Yeah, well, Central Oregon, during outside the winter season, there's a group,
Wanderlust.
yeah, called Wanderlust, which is kind of a long-standing company in Central Oregon that leads people on hikes and all. They take canoeists out at night onto Hosmer Lake, which is, one of the Cascade Lakes, and that seems to be very successful. We see their vans out there a lot. Yeah, so that, for example, Clear Lake is a possibility here, for attracting people with that sort of business. Yeah. Yes.
Does this building run on blue light outside?
This building,
Yeah.
does it have blue light?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, we have a spectrometer here, and we could go and measure it and figure that out. You want to hang around after we're done, and we'll measure it. Does anybody know what kind of color temperature we have on the lights here? But we have an instrument we can measure it.
Cool.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? Okay.
Bill, somebody asked about cost.
Oh, yeah. Well, at the meeting this morning, there was a question about cost of retrofitting lighting. So it depends on what the level of retrofit you need. If it's just light bulbs, replacing light bulbs on, the front of your house in a fixture adjacent to your front door or on the garage, that's pretty inexpensive. The LED light bulbs that have put out yellow light are like $5 each, available on Amazon. And we had a project in Central Oregon where we gave away light bulbs. We got money from, the Visit Central Oregon project that allowed us to make these animations. We also specified purchase of light bulbs, so we bought $1,000 worth of light bulbs and gave them away at events in Central Oregon. And they went like hotcakes. So when people understood hot bulbs, people understood what it was all about. They said, yeah, they wanted. Yeah.
You said the national park system was really supportive of the dark sky. Is there federal funding from the parks department or other avenues for cities who are interested in doing infrastructure upgrades like that?
The answer is no. Parks, National Park Service is generally underfunded, and it's a stretch for them to retrofit their own environments. But visitors visiting, Travel Oregon and that sort of, I'm not sure what the travel organization would be in this part of Oregon, but they may have an interest in this. And for example, we did in Central Oregon, got money from Visit Central Oregon.
Okay, so you got it from like a tourism ministry.
Yeah,
versus-
yeah. Well, we-
Interesting, yeah.
You know, that, we're careful, however, to not be locally attracting more tourists to Central Oregon because it's kind of overrun by tourists already. But we're happy to take Visit Central Oregon's money to protect the night sky, which might bring more tourists, but at least we're not on record as, you know, supporting that. So that, you know, there's people running around Bend with, you know, bumper stickers that say defund Visit Bend. So we don't want to get on that, on the side of that, bad side of that crowd.
One thing I'll just say is regarding Crater Lake, which is a national park, they have these organizations that are coming up with the national parks that are Friends of Crater Lake, or Friends of. So it's a separate community organization that's working to provide funding for things. And that's what's working on Crater Lake right now. We have people working, we have monitors there locally, trying to, that would be a real coup to have Crater Lake become a dark sky park. And it's in the process. It's just, it takes time. It's education, it's retrofitting, it's monitoring. And Crater Lake actually already gets a huge amount of visitors. So that designation would probably increase their visitors. So they have to have the capacity there to handle that kind of thing. So that's part of the process.
You know, park managers are by now aware of the additional population that could be attracted to their location. For example, there's a park in north central Pennsylvania. It's on that USA map there called Cherry Springs. It's the only dark sky park in the whole state of Pennsylvania. So the story we heard is that the manager there has since retired, but he was overrun with visitors every time the Wall Street Journal published some article about dark skies and mentioned Cherry Springs. So all these people from New York and New Jersey would drive to north central Pennsylvania. So they had to institute a scheduling system. You had to sign up online to get a spot to go to a star party. And I have a sister who lives in central Pennsylvania, and she's never been able to get on the list because it fills up so fast. Yeah.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about what Sisters is doing in support of dark sky?
Yeah. City of Sisters, actually for about 10 years, with effort from the City of Sisters Astronomy Club and the Sisters High School Astronomy Club, has been kind of beating the drum to reduce light pollution. And in the last year, the City of Sisters hired a consultant, a guy named John Barentine, who runs a dark sky consulting company out of Tucson, as one of the kind of stellar lights in science of measuring light pollution. Hired him to evaluate changes that they were proposing to the lighting ordinance of the City of Sisters. So they had him on Zoom meetings at various planning commissions and meetings and city council meetings, so that he was able to chime in, yes, this is good, that's not good, you have to do this. And they ended up with a lighting ordinance that passed muster for dark skies, vetted by him. And so they passed that early last year. So that was a big step toward becoming certified as an international dark sky community. And not to let the cat out of the bag, but they've achieved that, and it's going to be announced next week. So they are don't tell anybody. It's going to be, they're going to announce it. So, and the background on that, the most successful thing that was done there to convince the city to work for dark skies was that the astronomy club of the high school students gave presentations to city planners and to the council, and they got behind it because these kids were arguing in favor of saving the night sky. You know, all the problems we talked about with the ecology of wildlife and all, brought that to the attention of the city government, and they really got behind it.
And it was part of their senior project to do something in the community. And so the teacher was able to direct them for this, and it was very, very successful. And now they're coming back from out, they've graduated now, it's been years. They're coming back to celebrate this great.
As new business and stuff starts to start up maybe in Blue River, is there like a company or an engineer or somebody that they could, like, how can I make my building dark sky?
Compliant.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's, as volunteers, we help parks and cities do lighting inventories. But we're kind of few and far between, and we're not. So there's an opportunity here for electricians or other, lighting design companies in the area, maybe out of Springfield or Eugene, to have that capability. But the thing is, it's pretty straightforward regarding shielding and color of the light and timing.
We have a website that lists.
So there are
Some
that's
contractors locally that you could call it, or
No.
We're not promoting the contractors.
Correct.
But we're promoting the concepts.
Yep.
That they,
Yeah.
They're trying to get what is that, lighting, the lighting it's not a lighting company, it's an organization of lights.
International Illumination Society.
So they're all lighting experts. They're trying to have electricians and lighting designers be certified in this kind of work. So it's an
Yeah,
opportunity to increase
Yeah.
their skills.
right? Because the reason I ask is so at the restaurant up there we just put in some lighting. Well, the contractor said put in up lighting so you can light your signs upward, right?
Yeah.
And put lighting signs up this way.
That's
So
why
we.
he hasn't been to our talk.
Well, I know, but so as a business owner, I would have no idea. I'm like, yeah, I want the most light possible to light the signs. I want everybody to see it, right? And so that's where I come from, is from that side of it. But there wasn't anybody to consult, so you just call an electrician and you say, here's what I want to do, and they do it.
Yeah.
So, if there was some kind of a, again, maybe it's something to look into to find someone that would be dark sky approved or something, and that they could get some business that way.
Yeah. And, there's talk about, Main Street from around here somewhere all the way up to Clear Lake. And maybe there's an opportunity for all those communities to buy into dark skies, in which case there'd be increased level of understanding about lighting at night, so that when some business needs to be lighted, that general knowledge of what's good lighting and what's bad lighting would impact the design. But that's a very good point. We should have a list of sort of approved lighting designers. But the International Dark Sky International, they changed their name a couple years ago. Dark Sky International has on their website a list of approved fixtures and companies who provide them. So that's kind of a global or national list.
I'll just mention, we were at a conference in Alberta, Canada, 2 years ago, I guess. And there are people from all over the world. It was called an Allen Conference, Artificial Light at Night. And people from everywhere. And we met a woman from Vietnam. She is the lighting person for her company. Well, think about Vietnam, all right? Saigon or any of those. The idea in Asia is make your business as bright as possible to outbright the other guy so that, and it becomes this mush, and she, it's impossible. And she has worked with the business guy, people there, to learn how to have good lighting with their, and some of them just say, no, I want it to be bright, so it's an education. And even for yourself, I'm sorry you put in really bright lights on it. Maybe it attracts business, but if the lighting is really pleasant and you don't notice, but you want to go there because it's fun, and that's probably better long term.
Yeah, if we had a contractor we knew that we could have done that, we probably would have done it that way.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, now we have the list of principals.
Yeah.
You know, we're grassroots, you
Mhm.
know, so it's getting the word out and going, oh, I can do this.
Right.
Yeah, so. But I agree with you, it'd be nice to have.
Oh. Anything else? In which case, we'll go and measure the Kelvin temperature of the lights out here.